Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a world where history and myth really collide. We're talking about ancient Japanese swords.
Absolutely. These weren't just tools for fighting. For samurai, the sword was often called their soul.
Right, like a symbol of everything: self-respect, responsibility, loyalty, honor, all wrapped up in steel.
And that respect, it wasn't just for the sword, but massively for the makers, too. Ancient Japanese swordsmiths, well, they were celebrities in their own right.
Sometimes even more famous than the warriors using the blades, which is kind of amazing when you think about it.
It really says something about how much they valued that level of craft.
Totally. And when you talk about legendary smiths, one name stands out, maybe above all others, surrounded by brilliance, but also darkness: Muramasa Shingo.
He was working back in the Muromachi period, so 14th, 15th centuries.
Yeah, based in Ayas province. And he didn't just make swords, he founded the Muramasa school. His techniques, his style were passed down for like 200 years.
And his own blades were famous. Renowned for unbelievable quality, sharpness. People wanted them badly, even into the early 1500s, just top-tier craftsmanship.
No question, one of the greats. But, and this is the big but.
Here it comes.
Right. Despite this incredible talent, the stories say Muramasa had a troubled mind, a volatile nature.
And a dark curse, they believed, was actually forged into his weapons. It's this stark contrast, isn't it? Masterful skill meets, well, potential evil.
Exactly that paradox.
Yeah.
Supreme art versus this sinister reputation. And that's what we want to unpack today.
Sounds good.
So our mission for this deep dive:
Yeah.
explore the legend, the reality, figure out where this curse idea came from, what these swords were supposedly doing, and their impact through history right up to today.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so the origins of the curse. Our sources seem to point directly back at Muramasa himself, his personality.
Yeah, it seems a lot of it stemmed from him being seen as abrasive, having a venomous personality, not exactly Mr. Popular, maybe.
Apparently not. But it goes deeper than just being difficult, right?
Yeah.
The sources talk about, well, more extreme traits.
They do. There are reports of actual insanity, these fits of sudden physical violent rage.
Where he just lash out indiscriminately.
What's the picture painted? Yeah. This unbalanced mind bordering on complete madness. And the belief was this intense, almost frightening focus.
That relentless drive for perfection coupled with a violent passion.
Exactly. All of that, the genius, the obsession, the maybe bloodlust, the madness, it wasn't just in him. It was believed to have been mystically transferred into the swords he made.
Wow. Like his spirit or some dark part of it became part of the blade itself.
That was the core idea, yeah.
And that leads to some genuinely terrifying claims about what these blades could do. They weren't just objects anymore.
No, they were said to have a life of their own. Seriously, some stories even claim Muramasa, made a deal with the devil.
Whispering prayers for them to be the greatest destroyers. Yikes.
And it gets creepier. The swords were supposedly able to possess their wielders.
Possess them. How?
Pushing them beyond the brink of murderous rage, just completely losing control.
But wasn't there also a flip side? They granted powers, too.
Oh yeah, that's part of the insidious bargain, supposedly. You might get superior swordsmanship, maybe a temporary superhuman strength, even resistance to pain.
Sounds great. Until
the catch. And it's a big one. The blades were said to have a taste and thirst for blood.
Okay.
And if they weren't fed with enemy blood, well, the stories claim they'd turn on their owners and force them to commit suicide.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
And there's more. If you even drew a Muramasa blade,
Let me guess, it wasn't happy until it drew blood.
you got it. It would ruthlessly demand blood before you could put it back in its scabbard. So if you were alone,
Almost certain doom. You'd have to wound yourself.
or worse,
Or worse. And even undrawn, they supposedly weren't quiet. Claims they would call out to be unleashed, compel their owners towards murder.
so you have this incredibly effective weapon.
Irrefutably effective, yeah. But it's potentially just as dangerous, maybe more so, to the person holding it and anyone near them. It's like the sword itself is the enemy.
That's exactly how the legends portray it. They didn't care who they killed, hardly discriminate against friend and foe.
Using the owner like a puppet.
Pretty much. Mere instruments to help them kill people, even dear friends, allies, and even family members. No wonder you hear stories of owners going insane.
Their minds bent or destroyed by the demonic will of their weapons.
Right, and many supposedly killed themselves to escape the curse and the madness. Imagine carrying that fear, that potential on your hip every day.
It's chilling. Yet despite all this darkness, These blades were popular for, what, 2 centuries?
Yeah, which is kind of wild, isn't it? Their reputation didn't seem to hurt their demand initially.
But that changed, big time, during the reign of Tokugawa Ieyasu.
Ah, yes, the first shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate. This is where the legend gets really entangled with power and politics.
He wasn't a fan of Muramasa blades, was he?
Not at all. He genuinely seemed to believe they were cursed. He blamed them for the deaths of a lot of his own people, allies, friends, relatives.
And the stories about his own family are pretty specific, aren't they?
Extremely specific. The legend says his grandfather, Matsudara Kyoyasu, and his father, Matsudara Hirotada, were both killed by retainers wielding Muramasa swords.
While in some kind of murderous trance.
That's the story. And it supposedly hit closer to home, too. Tokugawa himself was allegedly cut accidentally, but still cut by a Muramasa katana during an inspection.
Okay, that's getting spooky.
And maybe the worst part, his own wife and his adopted son were apparently executed.
Using a Muramasa blade.
Allegedly, yes. So you can see how all these, let's call them coincidences.
For convenient narrative.
Could be. But either way, it fueled this idea that Muramasa blades had this specific vendetta against the Tokugawa clan, like they were actively hunting them.
Which led to
A full-on ban. Tokugawa outlawed owning Muramasa blades. Many were destroyed, melted down, others were hidden.
And this wasn't just a suggestion, right? The ban had teeth.
Serious teeth. There's the famous case of Takanaka Ume, the magistrate of Nagasaki around 1634, found hoarding 24 Muramasa blades.
And the punishment.
Ordered to commit seppuku, ritual suicide, just for earning the swords? That shows you how serious this was taken, right up to the highest levels.
Wow. Okay, so total ban, severe punishment, but people still kept them. Changed the markings to hide them?
Some did, yeah. Defied the ban. But here's a fascinating twist.
Go on.
Because of this reputation, this supposed anti-Tokugawa power.
Did it actually make them more desirable to the shogun's enemies?
Exactly, a kind of poetic justice, almost. If you were opposing Tokugawa, maybe you wanted a blade rumored to be cursed against his family.
That is quite the turnaround. But that demand probably had other consequences.
It definitely did. It led to a flood of forgeries, lesser swordsmiths trying to cash in on the name and the notoriety.
Ah, so that makes things complicated now.
Hugely complicated. It means today it's incredibly difficult to reliably determine if a purported Muramasa blade is indeed authentic. The curse, ironically, made them so popular that fakes became rampant.
Which brings us back to that central question, doesn't it? Were these blades really cursed?
Or were the stories just a natural result of them being so popular, so widespread?
I mean, good Muramasa blades were made for decades by a whole school, not just one guy.
Right. And because they were high quality and widely used by samurai, they were inevitably going to be involved in a lot of conflicts, a lot of deaths.
Including incidents involving the Tokugawa family, just by sheer probability, perhaps.
It's a very strong possibility, a very strong coincidence, as one source puts it. But the legend, fueled by those dramatic events around Tokugawa, it clearly stuck.
And it persists even now.
Absolutely. Muramasa blades, real or legendary, still symbolize that peak of Japanese sword-making skill, and their mythos is everywhere.
You see them referenced in various media, from video games to Japanese anime, and even in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, that idea of the powerful, potentially cursed weapon. It's got lasting appeal in pop culture. It shows how a compelling, dark story can endure.
So quite a journey we've taken through history, incredible craftsmanship, and some really dark folklore surrounding these swords.
That constant tension. Undeniable quality on one hand.
And this infamous reputation for madness and death on the other.
It really leaves you with a fascinating question drawing from all this, doesn't it? When you think about the sheer intensity that went into making these things, their violent purpose.
Yeah.
Can the spirit, maybe the energy, the intent of the creator, truly get passed into the objects they make, especially objects designed for conflict, for destruction?
And what does that tell us about how much power our beliefs, reputations, and just the stories we tell actually hold?
Generations later, even.
Exactly. What do you listening believe? Is the Muramasa curse real, a metaphor, or just a consequence of fame? And how much do these old stories still shape how we see things today? Definitely something to mull over.